Welcome back, guys. Phase 2 of Season of Discovery is live. We are finally at the end of the level 40 guides for all classes. Guides where we cover overall best in slot gear, updated professions, multiple talent specs, which runes to use, and some tips and tricks. Yesterday we covered the Hunter, the favorite bot class. Today we're covering the only class left, the Warlock, the Master of Dark Arts, the Subjugator of Demons, the last one picked. But not to worry, after doing this I can say there is hope for Warlocks. There's also an updated armory link in the pinned comment if any changes or mistakes arise. If you like the series, smash like, and with that being said, let's get right into it, shall we? For Warlocks, we start with the Destruction spec, as it might be one of the best performing specs in Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. So for the best in slot gear, we have the Tailoring Helmet, the Neurolinked Arcana Filament Monocle, 22 spell power and a nice on-use effect. Piston Pendant, 9 spell power. Synthetic Mantle, 12 spell power. I really hope Blizzard does something about this because it's best for all casters, even Shamans and Paladins. Bloodrot Cloak comes from the PvP event in Stranglethorn. If you can't get this, just get a green Fire Rat Cloak for level 40. That's going to be pretty good as well. The Irradiated set entirely has lots of spell power, crit and hit. The Dryad Warsong Gulch Bracers, can't get those, get the Oil Stained Bracers. The Glimmering Gizmo Blade, 19 spell power, with an offhand with 14 spell power here, but you can use the Orb of the Warlock as well, the Orb of Dar Orahil. For the gloves, we have the Dreamwave Gloves, 18 spell power, really hard to swap. For the belt, the Volatile Concoction Belt with 1% hit, 12 spell power. Irradiated Trousers with 16 spell power. Into Irradiated Boots. If you have tailoring and you have the old extra planar Spider Silk boots, you can keep them, they're still really good and you can focus on getting other parts first. Hypercharged Gear of Conflagration has 11 spell power and Advisor Ring has 9 spell power, 5 stamina. For the trinket, we have the Infernal Pact Essence, which is from the Stranglethorn Blood Moon event. There's a nice finger there, but we're gonna choose this trinket because it gives 80 intellect to our pet. 80 intellect to the imp, which we're going to be using for this fire spec, but we get that once we get to the talents. We have the Miniaturized Combustion Chamber, 12 spell power, but if you have the Void Pearl from BFD, it's pretty good. And Mechanostrider Gear Shifter for the wand. Now let's move into talents and runes and see how all this plays out. For talents, we're going Destruction without Conflagrate, 5 points into Cataclysm, which reduces the mana cost of destruction spells by 5%. 5 points into Bane, which reduces the casting time of your Immolate and Soulfire spells by 0.5 and 2 seconds. 2 out of 2 improve Firebolt, reduces the casting time of your Imp's Firebolt by 1 second. This has great synergy with the previous trinket that we showed you. And then we have 5 points into Devastation, 5% crit. Shadowburn for the execute phase, we're gonna need it to burst the boss when he's below 20%. And then we go into one of the best destruction talents, Ruin, which increases the critical strike damage bonus of your destruction spells by 100%. This includes Incinerate, this includes Chaos Bolt. It's going to be really fun. 4 points into Improve Immolate, increases the initial damage of your Immolate spell by 20%. And then we went for 3 points in Emberstone, which increases the overall fire damage you deal by 6%. The last 3 points, we went to get them into Improved Imp, which increases the effect of your Imp Firebolt, Fire Shield, and Blood Pact spells by 30%. Really, really nice. This is going to buff the Imp, improve Firebolt, and we have 5 talent points only for the Imp. Now we go to the runes. Lake of Fire, Incinerate, and Chaos Bolt. It's what we've been used from Phase 1 for the Destruction Warlock. It's going to be the same. And then we're going to have the new runes, which is going to be the Shadow and Flame, which your critical strikes with fire and shadow spells increase your fire and shadow damage done by 10% for 10 seconds. Really nice. And then we have another damage boost, Demonic Knowledge, which increases your spell damage and healing by a value equal to 10% of your demon's pet total stamina plus intellect. I'm not sure if this is going to scale with a trinket from the Blood Moon event, which it gives the pet 20 stamina and 80 intellect. So you can see how this works with really great with the Imp. A lot of damage here. We're gonna see a lot of Incinerate, a lot of big Chaos Bolts, I think there were some sims made recently, and it showed the Warlock parsing about 800 DPS potentially. It's going to be crazy. One thing you could change at this spec would be probably to remove 2 points from the improved imp and put them into Ember Storm to get the full 10% fire damage, and then you can buff your Chaos Bolt, your Incinerate, your Shadow Flame. But I think the imp is quite valuable because it not only gives fire damage, but it also gives a better Blood Pact, better Fire Shield, and so on. I think this is going to be the most popular Warlock spec. Now let's move to the Affliction spec. The Affliction gear, it's not going to be much more different than the Destruction gear. There are a couple of pieces like rings, which you can get epic BOE rings with 14 Shadow Power, or a Shadow Power ring from the Blood Moon Stranglethorn event, but mostly it's going to be quite similar. Let's move to the talents. The talents are going to be 5 out of 5 improved corruption into 4 out of 5 suppression. I took 4 points here, which is 8% hit. Let me know if you think it's too much. 2 points into improve life tap, 5 points into improve drain life. We have 3 points into improve curse of agony, 6% damage to agony, amplify curse, which increases the effect of your next curse of weakness, curse of agony by 50%. Really nice synergy here. 2 points to grim reach to increase the range of your affliction spells by 20%. 2 out of 2 nightfall for that 4% chance to get that instant shadow bolt. Siphon life is going to be a new dot that a lot of warlocks are excited about. It's going to create havoc in PvP and is going to apply one more dot to the list of dots that the Affliction Warlock has. We have 5 points into Shadow Mastery, which increases the damage dealt or life drained by your shadow spells by 10%. This is a really nice boost. And then we have 1 point into Dark Pact, which drains 150 from your pet's mana, returning 100% to you. Which makes me think that the Stranglethorn Trinket, which gives 20 stamina and 80 intellect to the pet, might be valuable even for the Affliction spec. Now let's move into the runes. Master Channeler, Everlasting Affliction, and Haunt is what I chose from phase 1. Grimoire of Synergy, a 5% chance to get 5% damage for 15 seconds. It doesn't feel like a lot. There's a lot of discussion that Invocation might be better. Refreshing Corruption, Immolate, Curse of Agony, or Siphon Life when it has less than 6 seconds duration remaining will cause you to deal instant damage to the target equal to 1 period of that spell's periodic damage. So there's a good argument that Invocation, while played well, is going to be much better than the 5% chance to get 5% damage for 15 seconds. For the Foot Rune, Demonic Knowledge, increases your spell damage and healing by a value equal to 10% of your demon's pet total stamina plus intellect. This is how Affliction looks. It's probably going to be inferior in terms of damage compared to the Fire spec, to the new Fire spec, because the Fire spec just scales better, has better runes. But Affliction, it's not to be left on the side, because Affliction has great uses in PvP, in solo grind, and a lot of other stuff, which makes it quite interesting. Now let's move to the tanking spec. For the tanking spec, the gear is not much more different compared to Fire or Affliction as well. We still have like similar helmet, necklace, mantle, which has a lot of armor, cloak. The thing that will be different here, it will be the hyper-conductive set with 3 pieces. As you can see, it has way more armor, way more stamina, although at the same time it has a lot of spell power and very good set bonus, including more armor. For the bracers, the Warsong Gulch bracers, if you can't get those, you are going to go for the Sergeant, the PvP bracers. Same offhand, same weapons. The gloves are the Fighter Ace gloves, which have a lot of armor, stamina, intellect, and spell power. And then we have the hyperconductive pants and hyperconductive walkers, which don't have minus stamina, they have plus stamina. For the rings, I went for the Advisor ring and the hyper gear of Conflagration. Same trinkets as well, Infernal and miniaturized combustion chamber. Now let's go into the talents and see how this is going to be played. As you can see, the talent points are pretty much similar to the ones we took in Destruction. There are a couple of changes, however. We took, instead of Destructive Reach and Improved Immolate, we took 5 points into Improved Searing Pain, which increases the critical strike chance of your Searing Pain by 10%. Also, we took 2 points into Intensity, which gives you a 70% chance to resist interruption caused by damage while you're channeling the Rain of Fire, Hellfire, or Soul Fire spells. This is going to be great, especially for Alliance, where if you have Concentration Aura, it's probably going to give you a 100% chance to not be interrupted while casting all those spells. And it's going to increase your AoE damage by a lot. But even without Concentration Aura, I think it's going to help you a lot with AoE tanking trash packs of mobs, or even doing like massive pulls. The runes are pretty much the same. We have Lake of Fire, Incinerate, Shadow and Flame, Demonic Knowledge. However, we do take the meta rune, which is what makes the Warlock a tank here to begin with. I think this is going to be probably the meta Warlock tank spec. Everyone is going to play this fire spec because it's going to be able to pull a lot of damage and probably a lot of threat. I'm pretty sure that we're going to see tank Warlocks that are going to parse higher than many DPS classes. Now let's move to the next thing. The first thing we notice on our way to level 40 is the Curse of Elements, which increases the fire and frost damage taken by 6%. As a mage, I'm only happy about this. The next thing we notice is a new rank of Siphon Life if you're playing Affliction, but also a new rank of Drain Life at level 38, and also a new rank of Curse of Agony, making 3 of your dots top DPS, top scaling up there with other spells. Immolate rank 5, it's going to be at level 40, great for Destruction Locks. Rain of Fire rank 2, which costs 605 mana. I think Warlocks will still be using Rain of Fire rank 1 just for that nice buff. And we also get Hellfire rank 1, which costs 645 mana. Like we said earlier, with Concentration Aura, with talents, you can get it to be uninterruptible, which is going to be probably quite nice. I think compared to the other classes, the Warlocks are doing quite fine, at least on the fire side of things, where we have the Destruction Warlock and the Tank Warlock. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Affliction Warlock, what you think about the Destruction Warlock, what you think about the tank spec, and what are you going to play in Season of Discovery Phase 2. If you're looking to get into Season of Discovery or return to Wrath of the Lich King, level some new alts and so on, I highly recommend getting Reset XP add-on. The add-on is free with all its features, and the guides are available up to level 20, making your leveling fast but also efficient since now it incorporates rune guides. Is this add-on a necessity? Not necessarily. But if efficiency is your goal, Reset XP delivers. It has the potential to accelerate your leveling speed by 30 to 100%, ultimately saving you valuable /plate time that could be better spent elsewhere. Personally, I also use it to quest for gold at max level in each phase because it gives me a good route to follow for maximum gold per hour. And if by any chance in the future you think about making an upgrade to a full version, use my code Frostadamus for 5% off. Links in the description down below. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, smash like, and given the fact that you're still watching the video, you might be interested in my second YouTube channel, Frostadamus TV. There's going to be a link right here on the screen, and you can easily find it in the description of the video right under the Twitch link. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoy Phase 2, and may you be blessed by the gods of RNG. Until next time, stay frosty. Bye bye!